Let us welcome the fourth speaker. The fourth speaker is Miss Miho Hanaya.
His speech title is Break the Chain. Break the Chain. So, Miss Hanaya, please come up to the stage.
Thank you, Master of Ceremony, distinguished judges, all the organizers, and audiences. Good afternoon, everyone. Screw you! Why are you so useless? Loud, terribly, irritated slow voices echoed through the dining room. He hit me on the cheek the next moment with a dry thought. Stop, please stop. I thought so many times, but my inner voice never reached him. I hate him, and I made up my mind to do one thing. I will never be like him. I will never be like my father. This fear of my father felt like a chain, but I didn't have the key to break it. Those terrible days lasted for several years and I turned 15. Then, a winter day I will never forget came. On that day, I was eating an omelette with my little brother, but he was eating with ketchup all around his mouth. Gradually, I got frustrated and yelled at him, "Dolly, why can't you do such a simple thing?" Then he looked up at me, tears in his eyes, and said, "Miho, you look like our dad." I was very shocked. Do I look like that? I swore many times I would never be like him. However, I got angry, just like my father. From that moment, I was afraid to become a parent. We all have the potential to become parents, and if you do, you want to be a good one. Don't you? It means that your future children can grow up feeling happiness. However, parenting is difficult, and some parents abuse their children, like my father. Today, I want to prevent continued abuse to protect future children. I hope to reduce abuse, including verbal abuse and any violence, and make better relationships with our future children for people who want to be parents in the future. After my brother told me I looked like my father, I researched a lot because I was afraid of becoming a parent like my father. I have come to realize a remarkable truth. According to a research result conducted by Midori Nakajima in 2005 at Hiroshima University, 50% of abused children will repeat abuse when they become parents. This data was very frightening for me because it indicates that either my brother or I will abuse in the future. The abuse continues from parents to children. This is the negative chain. As you all know, abuse risks injury or death to children, and in the negative chain, your precious children can be the next victims and even perpetrators. The abuse and its terrible suffering can go on forever. But why is abuse passed on from parents to children? It is because we only know how our own parents discipline us. There are fewer opportunities to learn the way to discipline children. So, abused children wrongly perceive violence and verbal abuse as discipline, and when they become parents, they repeat the incorrect decisions. My father always said, "This is how I was raised," when he beat me. In fact, according to a 2018 survey from NGO Save the Children, about 70% of parents hit their children as discipline, and the brains of abused children change and perceive abuse as a natural act. So, because they don't know how to discipline children correctly, they imitate their own parents' incorrect decisions. Then, how can we break this negative chain? I like to see the discipline observations incorporated into mandatory. I want the Ministry of Education to incorporate it as a new item in home economics. Because today's home economic classes focus on how to grow children, and while some are taught how to raise children, such as how to feed them, we are not taught how to discipline. Also, by making it mandatory, it can be taught to all children. Then, let me introduce you to solid discipline observations in new home economics. Firstly, we have to understand that abusive discipline doesn't work. Using such a way is counterproductive. According to a research result 2018 from Texas University, abusive discipline doesn't improve children's behavior, but rather, even minor verbal abuse and violence are detrimental to both mind and body. So, parents should not do any violence, no matter how small. Secondly, when we are angry at children, explain to them why. For example, instead of just saying, study, you should say, you need to study in order to get a job you love in the future. Children won't understand what is wrong without reasons, or else they will only have the memory of getting scared. So parents need to explain and convince their children. Lastly, if we fail to do these two ways, tell our children that you've made a mistake and say, sorry. It prevents children incorrectly perceiving as direct discipline. Furthermore, you who just heard this, please work on the solid discipline observations for juniors or younger siblings. By practicing from now on, the right discipline becomes a habit, and you will directly prevent the negative chain. Understanding the right way of discipline from childhood can prevent the wrong perception of it and the negative chain. I have gained much knowledge, and I want to become a parent. I believe I can live happily with my future children. All of you, future parents, can be the chain that binds your children. However, you also can get the key to free your children from the negative chain. You have the potential to both bind and free your children. So, why not take a step forward to the key? Ladies and gentlemen, breaking the negative chain can save many hearts and lives. So please, break the chain. The key is in your hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Hanaya. Now, we have a question and answer session. Mr. Kubota, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Miho-san.
Thank you for listening.
So, how's your father doing right now?
Right now,
Yeah.
My mother and I told to my father that our feeling. So now our relationship is better than before, but not so good actually.
Okay. Well, so let's think about your father's father or your father's mother, your grandparents.
Yes.
Did they treat your father in an abusive way?
Yes, my father told me that he was disciplining the way not correct way. He was disciplining in not correct way, so when he abused me, he always say that this is the right way to discipline, and my grandfather and my grandparents always discipline his this way. So I think this is a change.
Okay, so how does your father act in his workplace? Is he yelling in his office? And
Yes.
if he is not, why does he only yell in your house?
Actually, my father also my father always scold his juniors in his workplace, and actually my father's juniors told the both of my father and my father noticed now.
Oh, so he did some kind of power harassment? Oh, that's too bad. Okay, suppose you became a parent and you have a child, and your child bullied someone else at school. And what's worse, the bully, the other kid got injured because your child punched that kid. How would you treat your child? What would you say to him or her?
I will tell my child that you should not abusive way to fight with your friends because your friends will feel bad, and also abusive way doesn't have power of anything. I will tell about that.
Okay, so, but sometimes we have to be strict, right? And if the children would not listen to your words, maybe some kind of slap or something, some kind of physical punishment would be necessary, I think. What do you think about this kind of opinion?
I think we need to scold, but we don't need to abusive way because scolding and abuse is different. The scold is for children because it's to guide your children. However, the discipline is to control the child, so it's for parents. So you need to make your way to scold, and the way is that adding the reason.
Okay, so time's come. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Kubota and Ms. Hanaya. Please go back to your seat.